Hello. I'm sorry, I was with the other link.
Okay. Well, we can wait a minute to see if anyone else hops on.
Sure.
And I can introduce you. Well, I can get started introducing you. So everybody, this is Illuminata Vilka from Cornell Cooperative Extension. She's going to be presenting on food on a budget. So as we reminded everybody, this will be interactive. Everyone has the packets. Please ask questions throughout and also come up with questions to be asked at the end of the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. So good morning, everybody. As it was mentioned at the beginning, we will try to make this an interaction. So I will ask you questions and please feel free to unmute. You don't need to turn on your camera, but we can talk. Nice to meet you. Okay. So let me share now my screen. Okay. So we are going to talk about eating healthy on a budget. Now, my name again is Iluminada Vilca. I work at the Cornell Cooperative Extension and we do nutrition education. So I was invited to do a series of classes for you. So I hope you will enjoy. In previous class, we talked about the My Plate. So I will just briefly talk about it. So the My Plate, and I hope you are familiar with it. How many of you are familiar with the My Plate? And you can write your answer in the chat. Are you familiar with the My Plate? Yes. Some of you are. Okay. So now thinking about how to eat healthy on a budget, right? And we also want to save that money. First of all, we need to plan. So here you will find a small example of how you can plan of all what you need during the day, like how much of fruits and vegetables, right? Like for example, for fruits, we need 2 cups of fruit, 2.5 of vegetables, 3 cups of dairy during the day. Then for the protein, we need 5 ounces and a half, 6 ounces of grains. So how it actually looks like, it will be like, for example, breakfast, it will be 1 cup of milk, for example. Then a snack, it can be a glass of yogurt with some fruit, like maybe strawberries if you like, or maybe a tangerine. Now, try to have, of course, all those fruits and vegetables that are in season, and I will talk to you more about that. Then here for lunch, a fruit, some protein, maybe some chicken if you want, a whole grain here. If you like to sandwich the chicken in a sandwich and a vegetable, right? Maybe some lettuce or cucumbers, or try always to have a variety. So if we notice here, breakfast, lunch, dinner, right? At least 3 or 4 of the food groups you need to have whenever you want to know that it is a balanced meal. So it's just a graphic to give you an example, and planning ahead is going to be important. Yes. So then we have, and let me go forward. So shopping list. How many of you use a shopping list? Some of you use, because this is going to be important in order to plan ahead. What are we going to have, let's say, for the week, right? Then, okay, what do I need? Which ingredients do I need for the recipes that I'm going to have or use, right? So a planning, a grocery list is going to be important in order also to stretch our money, right? Oh, nice. The wives, I have a quote here. My wife almost always makes a shopping list, and it's going to be important, right? And the challenge will be to stick to the list. So that will be also good. Now, recipes online, those are also those will help us also to stretch our money, right? Look for recipes online. I wonder how many of you use recipes online? No? Okay, so I will share with you at the end of the presentation some websites where you can actually find those recipes, and those are really good recipes. Now, the unit price, have you compared the unit price when you go grocery shopping? Yes, okay, very good. Some of you do. So how to use the unit price, and just for the ones who do not use it, it's also going to be very good whenever you want to stretch your money. So for example, we have the retail price, which is what we pay, right? This one is $4.27. This one is $1.32. If it is just you, maybe you will buy this one, or it's a small one. Normally, the lower prices are for the smaller ones, and this will be for the big one. And you will say, oh, I would prefer to buy the $1.32. So you buy this, but if we do not compare, this is actually what you are paying. This one says per each, meaning each one, let's say if these are raisins, for each little box of raisins, you are paying $1.32, and per 100. So per 100 little packages, you are paying $1.68. So it means that this one, you will be actually saving more money than getting this one, right? So paying a little bit more will actually save you some more money. So that's how we look at the unit price. It's better to compare the unit price. Not always is per each. It can also be per pound, per ounce. So that's how you should compare whenever you go grocery shopping. It will save you more money. Now, I have a small example here with fresh fruits and frozen. Frozen fruit is going to be frozen on its optimal state, which means you are not going to lose nutrients. So do not be afraid to get the frozen fruit. So with the frozen fruit, we have the example. This one is $2.75. We also need to look at how many pounds, right? This one is 1 pound. Now for the fresh one, it's $4.48, and it's 1.5 pounds. It's a little bit more, but we can maybe save a little bit more money when we get them frozen. And if we compare the unit price, right, we will notice here also that you will save a little bit more money. So it's up to you, right? You can get the fruits that are in season that will be lower prices, and maybe you can freeze those fruits. That's another idea, right? How to preserve and stretch your money, like when we go to the public market, for example. So it will be okay to get them frozen if you want to get the frozen and it's not the season. Like for example, this is the example for the peaches, but now during the winter time we have strawberries, right? So strawberries are going to be, the fresh ones will be expensive. They come from California, right? And the frozen ones, we are going to find that there are lower prices. So that's what I mean, that try to get the fruits and vegetables in season. They will be fresh, right? They will be lower prices, but when they are out of season, you will find that they are frozen, and you could find really good prices when you find them frozen. So if anyone can tell me, what can we do with the frozen fruits and veggies?
We can use it for pies.
Yes. Yeah.
Sorry, I just want to ask you something. So you said that it's better buy in more quantity because it's cheaper. What do you do, for example, like avocados? Like you want like them fresh and like kind of like soft, and like if you buy a lot, you're not always gonna eat it, you know?
Yeah, that's right. So maybe there are ways that we can, like when we buy a lot, and if you want to use them for your smoothies, some people use them for smoothies. Maybe you can freeze those too. if you are going to use it for something like for a salad, it will be a little bit more different, right? When we freeze
Mhm.
them and then they freeze. But
Yeah.
because I would think I haven't tried that, so it's a really good question. Maybe I can try it. But if you have a chance, you can also try to freeze that. Let's say the avocados as
Mhm.
the example, and then see how when you defreeze it in the fridge, then how it looks like. I would say it won't look that mushy,
Mhm.
right? But
Yeah.
it would be a good idea. I mean, always when we buy in bulk, we will actually save more. And that's why I give the example of fresh fruits and vegetables in season. Try to get more of those fresh ones because when they are in season, the farmers would like to lower those prices and
Mhm.
then you can get more for your money.
Okay.
Yes, thank you for the question. So going forward, we also have, how can we say, right, using those coupons? Have any of you use coupons when you go grocery shopping?
I
Because
don't
those,
really.
not not much.
Um,
Okay.
I feel
Yeah.
like always when I try to use, like, I have coupons, and when I go to grocery, like, for some reason at that time I don't need that stuff, and then when I need it, that coupon is like not valid anymore.
Okay. Yeah, we need to keep up with the expiration date. Maybe Ola can tell us how you use your coupons because she's sharing with us that she uses coupons. Uh, and some of you also use those coupons. Okay, so very good. So it's not going to be a bad idea, but yes, we need to keep up with those expiration days, right? So coupons will save us some money. And those loyalty cards, like the ones, for example, for Wegmans or Tops, right? When you get, let's say, packages, family packages, it will be a little discount when you use those loyalty cards. So it's not a bad idea to use them too. Now, compare and contrast, like for example, and this we go back to the frozen and the fresh. So we have the example of the fish. So fresh fish on your left hand and the frozen will be on the right hand. So here we pay $5.99 per pound and we pay for the frozen one $9.99 for 2 pounds. Now the frozen one, again, there is going to be frozen on its optimal state. It's not going to lose nutrients. So it's going to be okay to have them frozen. If you are going to cook it right away, right? Or maybe you are going to keep it like, it will have a certain time for the fish, chicken and the meat. It will last longer in the freezer, but it also has a time that you could use it. Otherwise, the the texture is not going to be the same. It doesn't mean that it will turn bad when you freeze it, but it's not going to be the same if you keep it for a long, long time. And for example, here with the fish, with the frozen one, if you get them frozen, you will actually save some money when we look at the unit price, right? If we compare, it will be $4.99 per pound versus $5.99 per pound. And when you get them frozen, normally they will have in a different small packages where you can use them. Take one, depending how many are in your, how many people you have in your household, and then you can take just what you need, right? So it's just an example about the frozen fish. Now, store brand versus name brand. And I don't know how many of you prefer the store brand or do you prefer the name brand? But then again, it will be also to look at the unit price. So the unit price will be interesting and important, right? We will save a little bit more when we compare that unit price. And normally the products that are from the store brands, they will be lower prices than the name brands. And for example, if we compare here the green beans, right? Green beans here, green beans here, there is no other ingredient. They don't use anything else besides when we have the vegetables in a can, they are preserved with salt. So we need to be careful with the salt, with the amount of salt that we can use and also intake, right? That we eat. So for example, when we get them in a can, prefer the ones that say low sodium or no salt added. For this example, these ones, I believe these are the ones that have the salt. It doesn't say any low sodium, but the only ingredient here is just the green beans. So for for all the products, if you compare the store brand versus the name brand, you can look at the ingredients. If it is the same ingredient and you want to save a little bit more money, then it is not a bad idea to get the store brand. It's not going to be bad. Maybe you will find a little difference in the taste, but it's not going to be that much. So I encourage you to also try the store brand. It's not going to be bad, right? And we have so many stores. Now, when we talk about, for example, the meat, and when we were looking at the My Plate last class, we were talking about eating healthy, less fat. So this is an example of what you should choose when you want to make, let's say, your hamburgers at home. Prefer the ones that are higher percentage lean. For example, here is 93% lean, which means less fat, right? More protein. This means the protein. This will be the percentage of fat. The same for this one, but this one is turkey. So with the turkey, and I chose the turkey, or you can also choose chicken, right? But what I wanted to show you here is the price. So if we compare, and we know that the percentage 93 here, oh, $7.48, that's a little bit too much. It's pricey. But if you get the turkey, it's going to be less, right? And if we look at the unit price, of course, the unit price will also be less. So always first look at the unit price, right? That will be the advice, to look at the unit price and compare that, and try to get the one that will have less fat. So the more percentage lean, which means more protein, less fat, will be always good for you. I don't know if there is any question about this, or is there any other question that came up? We are good? Okay. So buying in bulk, right? What we were talking about before, like the public market, is going to be better when we want to save some money, right? And also, let's say at the store, the value pack, like for example, the family pack, right? Here, if we compare the unit price is $1.47 and a difference of $3.19 when we have the chicken that is already roasted. Maybe we can actually save more money whenever it's going to be something that we are going to cook. If we don't have time, yeah, of course you can get your roasted chicken, right? It's ready. But if you can have a little bit more time to prepare your meals, you will actually save more money when you make them on your own, right? So this is more like the idea I wanted to give to you. So buying in bulk, right? Preparing your meals at home, that's something that also can stretch our money.
I have a question.
Yes.
So, with this method, if we buy in bulk and like freeze it for later, I heard that frozen food is not that good for you because like during when it's like frozen, it's lose that value. Is that true, or it just like people made
That-
up?
yeah, that's a good question. And we could think that because maybe the quality when
Mhm,
we eat it will be a little bit different.
mhm,
So that's why when I mentioned that there is going to be a lifetime that you
mhm.
can keep it in the freezer, but it's not going to lose nutrients. So
Okay.
it's mainly the maybe if you keep it for a long time, like for example, vegetables can stay there for years, and they can be frozen, and then you can use them maybe for soups, right? Or because if you use them for salad, it's not going to be the same. Maybe if you keep them for a shorter time will be different,
Yeah.
but it's not going to be bad. You will not lose the nutrients. They will just be frozen on its optimal state. When they get them from the farms, they wash them, right? They clean them, and they freeze them.
Mhm.
So it's not going to be much difference. It's not going to be
Okay.
bad. Yeah.
Yeah, because I watched a lot of like shows about food and stuff, and always like in restaurants they like fight for restaurants to have like fresh meat and that stuff, not frozen ones. So I was wondering maybe it has like some nutrients difference or something like that.
Yeah, it's more the texture, like how it will
Mm-hmm.
taste. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. And that's a great question. Now, I also thought that this will be interesting for you. This is a website, it's called the 211 Lifeline. Maybe you know it already, but I thought it will be interesting for you to have. So, when you go to this website, you will find in the section for food, like where can we get those fresh fruits and vegetables that will be affordable prices. And we have the food link track which sells fruits and vegetables. And if you click here, it will take you to the link for the Food Link website, where you can find the schedule where they go in Rochester. Those are big trucks that they sell fruits and vegetables, and also they have been in to Oasis. And what the good thing is that you can also use your Snap card if you have one. And if you use your Snap card, for every dollar that you spend getting fruits and vegetables, they will give you a $1 voucher that you can use through the year till $10. So if you get $10 of fresh fruits and vegetables, they will give you a $10 voucher that you can use through the year. So you will be actually doubling your money, right? So it's not going to be a bad idea to take a look, go to the FoodLink mobile market, and it will give you the schedule. Then in the Lifeline, 211 Lifeline, you will also find the grocery ordering delivery if you don't want to move from your home, home delivered meals, right, for the ones that need it, packet lunches and dinners, formula, baby formulas for babies, food pantries, hot meals, seasonal meals. So it has a lot of information, even how to apply for a SNAP or how to apply for WIC. So I encourage you to also take a look and use those resources that we have. Then buying season, when I was talking to you about the public market, I thought it would be nice to have the schedule. So they open 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. Tuesday and Thursdays, and 5 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturdays. Then we have, this is a website from the USDA, the Department of Agriculture. So this will be for New York. Which are the fruits and vegetables that are in season from January to December? So it will give you a chart of all the fruits and vegetables that you will find and when they are going to be in more production. So when you go, let's say, to the public market, you already know, and maybe you can plan a meal already right ahead. What can I make, let's say, with turnips, right? If it is the season for that. And then you can buy them at the public market because you will know that are in season, so there will be lower prices. So I thought this will be interesting for you to have. Now,
Also, if you go to public market like closer to end, the prices they tend to lower the prices because they're like tired of being there, and like they try to sell everything to not take it home. Me and mom was going a couple times, and we like came like more to the end, and there's not that many people, but they tend to lower their prices a lot.
oh, good, very good idea. So there you go. We can even save more money. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. So then we have, for example, convenience costs go back to the basics, meaning like and then this will be again, whenever we buy something that is already made for us, let's say, this is not the example we have here, but let's say fruits that are already pre-cut, right? We are paying for that extra work that is made for us. So in this case, we have oatmeal, right? This is the roller oats. They have no sugar, it's not instant oatmeal. But when we compare with the instant oatmeal, the one that we just put in our cups, in our milk, let's say, or the water if you prefer water, then it will have the sugar, right? That, and when we were mentioning about the My Plate last time, we mentioned that everything that we eat in the plate, it doesn't matter what is, and the plate is behind me here. Everything will turn into sugar in your blood, and that's the sugar that your body needs from those nutrients, right? From the fruits, vegetables, protein, grains, dairy, that's what we need. But what happens when it is added sugar? Like for example, the instant oatmeal will have added sugar, like flavors to make it, sweeter. So that's added sugar that your body doesn't need. The rolled oats, the ones that you need to make at home, that one you will have to use or you need to add the sugar, but maybe you can use some natural sugar, let's say with some raisins. That's the natural sugar in the fruit, right? I mean, the raisins will have that natural sugar because those are fruits. So you can use other fruits. You can use strawberries, other kind of fruit because that fruit will have that natural sugar. So always prefer to have that natural sugar. But this example is like if we compare the unit price, right? We are actually paying more when we compare per ounce. This one is 0.20 and per ounce here is 0.09. So comparing the unit price, we will actually save a little bit more money and it will actually be a little bit more healthy because we will add our own natural sugar, right? Or if you want to add your added sugar, try to add just a little bit because we will have even more when we have the one that is already pre-made or ready to eat, right? Like the instant meals, instant oatmeal here. So that was the example. Now,
I heard that those oatmeals with the large of amount of sugar are harmful. Is it true or not?
are harmful? Yes.
Yeah.
We can say, yeah, we can say, and thank you for your question. We can say that it can be harmful because, again, if we look at the My Plate again, all those nutrients will already turn everything into sugar in our blood. And that's the energy that your body will need. So if we add the sugar and we do not use that sugar, what happens? Who can tell me how does it turn into whenever we don't eat? I mean, we don't use that sugar that is in our
It
blood.
can turn to the fats and then like it can be obesity.
Yes, that's right. So we need to be careful, right? Because if we don't use that added sugar, and the added sugar, we won't use it very fast. It will stay longer in our body. So if we do not use it, like in energy, if we don't do the exercise, and thank you for mentioning that because it can bring to my mind to also mention to you when we try to eat healthy, we also need to think about physical activity, and physical activity is going to be very important in our life. So yes, we need to eat healthy, but we need to have physical activity. They go hand on by hand and they need to be best friends. They cannot separate each other because when you eat, you get that energy. And when you do the exercise, you use that energy. So it's going to be important, right? To do that exercise and do not have that extra sugar. I'm sorry, that extra, like the sugar will turn into fat. And yeah, you're welcome. And thank you for that question because yes, we can think that yes, it will be harmful because at the long term, when you don't use that sugar, it turns into fat, you gain weight. Gaining weight, it will maybe take you to high cholesterol, high triglycerides, heart problems, right? So yes, we can say that it will be harmful. That's why we need to be careful with the amount of sugar. Now, that doesn't mean that we can indulge ourselves once in a while, right? Once in a while means, let's say you like ice cream. Yes, you can have your ice cream, but try to have it not every weekend, maybe. Try to have it twice during the month. Balance that. And yeah, maybe one weekend, yes, another weekend, no, another weekend, yes. So always try to balance because you need to also think that that added sugar is not something that your body needs. You do not need that added sugar, right? So always be careful with that. Now, thank you. And now going back to the slides, we have here the example of the fruit cups, the fruit in a can and the fresh fruit. So this is more like to give you the idea that it's not going to be too bad to have the canned fruit, but we will pay a little bit more, yes, when I mentioned to you about the pre-cut fruit, right? Like for example, the little one. Let's compare the unit price. So we have 2.08. This will be per pound. then 2.05 per pound for the can, and 2.99 per pound for the fresh fruit. Now, yes, this one is fresh, right? If you can have them fresh and they are in season, which means it will be lower prices, try to have them fresh. Now, if we want to stretch our money a little bit, it's not going to be a bad idea to have them in a can. When we talk about the fruits in a can, and this is important, we do need to be careful with the amount of sugar, because the way that is going to be preserved is in sugar. So when you get the ones in a can, try to get the one that says 100% juice. That means that it's going to be the juice from the fruit. So it's not going to be added sugar, it's going to be the natural sugar. But even when you get them in the 100% juice, maybe you can drain it, or later you can have that juice. But always try to reduce that amount of sugar, because even though it will be natural, maybe it's not going to be good to have too much of that sugar. How many juices of, let's say if it is the juice of a lemon, many lemons they have squeezed to make that juice that they will mix with the peaches, right, to preserve it. It's just an idea. But it's always good to compare that unit price. And then if we compare these two, the one in a can with the pre-cut, we know that the one in a can will be better, right? This will be a little one. We are actually paying for somebody else cutting it for us when we don't have the time. And yeah, you can use it when you have the time, but you know that you are paying a little bit more. So always have that in mind. I'm going to pay for somebody doing it for me. Do I have the time? Maybe I can prepare before, right? That's why planning is going to be very important. So planning ahead what you are going to have. So just an example for you. When I will go to the office now, everybody is trying to work at home, but I will prepare my own meals at home, right? And I will try to do that. So I will know, okay, I need to have some fruit for my breakfast. So I will do it the night before. I will chop the fruit, I will have it in a container so I could take it to my work and then have that fruit, because you know that that's important for you. You know that it's better if you do it your own, because you are going to save some money. So those little things, always planning ahead, is going to help you a lot to eat healthy, but also to save some money. So let's go with the next
I
slide.
have a question. So
Yes.
you said that we can drink the juice after from like a canned peaches, but I don't know. I had like that thinking all my life that like that juice is not good for you because it has like chemicals to preserve that peach. Is that not not true anymore, or like is that like a not like it's not harmful for us? How does it work?
Yes, thank you for that question. So yes, when we have them in a can, we need to be careful with the added sugar when it says heavy syrup, because that is another way to call sugar. And yes, there will be some chemicals in it to preserve it. That's why you also need to read the ingredients. And we must, let's say we must know, the USDA is very strict with the companies to tell us what they are putting in their cans. So for the 100% juice, we will look, I don't have a can to show you here with me, but you will see that is the 100% juice and maybe ascorbic acid, which is something that will also help preserve that fruit if we are talking about the fruit. And if it says the 100% juice, yes, you can have it. But when you see the other one that says heavy syrup or light syrup, that's another word for sugar. And in the ingredients, even maybe you can find corn syrup. Yes.
What is that exactly? Is that like sugar? Some things that like they
Yes.
use instead of sugar, and I heard that like is that thing is like really harmful for you. That like it's really unhelpful.
Yeah. So the corn syrup is another kind of sugar. It's also made, so they take something from the corn and they chemically transform it. That's the corn,
Yeah.
the corn corn syrup. I think that's what I call it. So it's not going, there is going to be a lot of research behind that. I encourage you to do your own research because this is not part of what I am giving to you from the dietary guidelines. So it's important to, yes, know more about it and be careful with those things. Yes, if you can have them fresh, prefer the fresh one. But if you want to stretch your dollars, the best one is going to be the one with the 100% use. It's not going to be that bad because it's going to have that 100% use. So
Okay.
yes, that I think, did I answer your question?
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. So thank you for that. And going back to the slides, buying a store brand versus making at home, right? We're going to pay more whenever it is pre-made, right? Something that is already done for us than something that we can make at home, right? We're going to save more money. So always prefer to make your meals at home. You also know how much salt you are using, what kind of types of oil you are using, because over here you don't know what they are using, right? You can read those ingredients, and most of the time we have 100 ingredients for one little one because they want to keep it on the shelves, on the fridge, right, for longer time. So they use more, let's say, chemicals, right? So they can stay there longer. So it is up to you, right? But prefer to make your own meals at home, and you will save also more money. But you need to plan ahead, because sometimes we say, oh, I don't have time to do that. But it is important planning ahead and trying to have that time. Now, these are the websites that I mentioned to you at the beginning. So one of them is What's Cooking. This one is a good one from the USDA. You can type one ingredient, like if you open your fridge and you always make the same recipe for, let's say, broccoli or bell peppers. You always use the same recipe. You want to change something. So you just type bell peppers and it will give you a list of recipes with the bell peppers that maybe you can try. Now, the Snapet New York is our website from our program. Also great recipes and videos that you can also watch and you can learn from there. Food Hero is from the Oregon University. Also great recipes. Most of the time I go there because they are very easy. Not that these ones are not easy, but yes, they are all easy, but these ones are kind of fun too. Then we have the Choose My Plate recipes. This is from the government. And the Choose My Plate will give you even more information about the My Plate if you go to their website. But they also have this recipe website where you can find many, many recipes. And you can also type an ingredient, right, for the Food Hero and the My Plate, and it will give you a list of recipes that you can have with one of the ingredients that you need to use in your pantry or your fridge. So I hope you can use those. So now I will continue. Now these ones are going to be the fresh fruits and vegetables that you will actually find all year round. Like for example, for the protein, beans, black beans, chickpeas, lentil, black eyed peas, right? They are going to be all year round and there will be lower prices for them. Then the vegetables like carrots, green leaves, potatoes, all year round. Fruits like apples and bananas, all year round. So these are the few that we will find all year round, and they are going to be lower prices. Of course, there are going to be more depending on the area where we live. So New York State will have another one, and that's why I encourage you to go to that website where you can find those fresh fruits and vegetables that are in season so you can get more for your money. Now, this is an idea, like cook maybe 2 times or 3 times, and then you can freeze those pre-cooked meals, right? And then you can take it out, you heat it up, and it's already there. Maybe one weekend you don't want to feel like cooking, so you cook before, maybe during the week, and then you freeze it, right? And then when it's the weekend, you don't want to cook, you just take that and you heat it up, you put it in your oven or the microwave, the way you want to do it, and then you have your meal. So it's a way also planning ahead and also helping yourself to relax a little bit, right? So that we can also do, and it's just a suggestion, but it's not a bad idea. Now, cook and freeze, right? And this will be something that I actually will do during the weekend because it is just me. And this is something that I was doing before. Now I don't do it because we stay more at home, so it's different. But I will prepare my meals. I will keep them in a small container like this one, and I will freeze it. So then I will have it for the week, right? Or even more, right? Maybe for the next week, but it's going to be frozen. So I just need to take it out, put it in my lunchbox, and then go to work. So it's an idea also to save some money, but also know what you are eating, right? When you prepare your own meals, you know what you are eating. Then get, get creative with the leftovers. I don't know how many of you make new recipes with leftovers. Do you use your leftovers? Whatever is left from maybe last night or from meals, right? So one idea is to make a stir fry. Like if you have some chicken left, you can toss some veggies, maybe frozen veggies that you want to add to your stir fry and the chicken, add some seasoning, some garlic, all what you want, right? Like maybe some ginger too. And then you make another meal, right? With something that it was like a leftover. So that's another idea. Then eating out, we don't do that much, but I thought it would be interesting to also mention that. So for the fast food restaurants, right, we know that they are going to be loaded with salt and fat. We need to go just once in a while, prefer to go there. If you don't have time, yes, you can go there, but try to take the ones that are going to be with less fat. It will give you every fast food restaurant has the information, the nutrition fact information, and instead of deep fry or crunchy or crispy, prefer the grill ones. That would be best. And this photograph gives you an example that each one of us is going to be different. We need a different amount of food, so always try to have smaller portions whenever you eat out, because again, it will have many more calories than the one that you can make at home. So prefer less amount. Now, if you go out, maybe you can have half, right? And then you can eat half later. Order appetizers, which means the smaller ones, right? A smaller size. Or share a plate. That's another idea, right? Not to eat all by yourself. So that those are just few ideas. Now, eating better on a budget is something that if you haven't received it, you will receive it. But this is also good information that you can get. And finally, this is a recipe that I thought you could also use. You will find it in the website. This is a healthy egg burrito. So it has all those nutrients like grains, vegetables, dairy, and some protein. So it's a mixture of everything. And you can make your own, right? Be creative. Try to include the fruits, the vegetables that you want. Um, have a variety, but it's important always to include those fruits and vegetables. So thank you for your attention. I don't know if there are any questions left. I will stop sharing now. Is there any question that was left in the air? Maybe something about saving some money? Something that I didn't mention now that I have in my mind is the vegetables in a can. So in a difference from the fruits, the vegetables are going to be preserved in salt, and our body needs some salt but doesn't need too much. So always get them in low sodium or no salt added. And if you can, rinse them with some water, right? Because again, when I mentioned to you in the My Plate here behind me, everything is going to turn into sugar in your blood. Everything here also has milligrams of salt, and we are not going to taste it even in the milk. So it's going to be naturally there, and your body needs some salt but doesn't need too much. So always be careful with the amount of salt. If you're going to get the ones in a can, get them in low sodium, no salt added, and rinse them with some water. I don't know if there is another question, any other question left.
I don't have any questions, but thank you so much for coming and telling us about it. It was really helpful, and I knew Like I learned something new.
Okay, good. I'm glad. I'm glad. Thank you for coming. Thank you, Ola. Good. Thank you. You're welcome.
If there's no more questions, I just want to say thank you for presenting. Everyone, I'm sure, learned a lot. So, and they have all the handouts with all the information so they can remember it as well.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Okay.
Have a good day, everybody.
Thank you. Have a good day. Goodbye.
Bye.